Have you ever watched a pro game and see players hit the craziest skill shots over and over again? But when you try the same thing, you have every ability while your team pings you? I remember when I was first starting out, skill shots felt like a bit of skill and a bit of luck. Sure, aiming matters and good players will hit skill shots more often than not, but no matter how good you get, you can never be 95 or even 100% accurate. But that changed. As I started getting better and eventually became a professional player, I learned that there is a lot more that you can do. And as long as you use the right techniques, you basically never have to miss a skill shot. My name is Xpecial, and in this video, I'm going to teach you these 3 techniques. I know these tips will help because they've worked against the best pros in the world when I played in LCS and won multiple NA championships when I was on TSM. Also, if you need help implementing any of these tips, I'm offering one-on-one coaching for a very limited time to just 15 people. The link for that is in the description. Now back to the video. The first technique to guarantee landing our skill shots is cutting off space. Summoner's Rift is full of terrain, and by cutting off space, you're able to guarantee your skill shot to land. Here's an example where I showcase this technique in a professional LCS playoff match on Thresh against CLG. While this may be an old clip, this is a perfect example of this technique. Link on Orianna is running away from our jungle. Based on his current position, he can either juke back or run away. But both options are covered by my hook trajectory. In short, there was no space for him to dodge my hook, so I was able to confidently flash in to throw my Q. This hook turned the losing game around and it landed us into the LCS finals. After the game, even our coach thought that flashing in was a risky play, but I knew that this was actually a low risk, high reward play. Because we were in a losing position, if I didn't go for a play there, we would slowly end up losing the game. If I did go for the play with the flash hook, the best case scenario would be for us to catch Link off guard and turn the game around. And even in the worst case scenario where Link had his flash up, I would trade flash for flash because I knew there was no way for him to dodge a hook. By identifying terrain and choke point opportunities, you can reduce the margin of error in skill shots, helping you land those clutch abilities when your team needs you the most. Check out one more example here, where I'm setting up for a gank in mid lane. I position myself aggressively with the intention of blocking off Victor's escape path. I know he wants to escape upwards into his jungle and he has flash available. I'm patiently waiting for him to commit in a direction before throwing out any ability, guaranteeing that I land my skill shot. In this case, he ended up messing up his flash and baited his Lee Sin, but even if his flash was perfect, he was still going to get caught. This applies to late game team fights as well. This was a super close game on Seraphine where my team was looking for a fight around Baron. Udyr face checked into Baron because he was worried that my team was on it. Instead of using my Seraphine ulti immediately, I positioned myself so that I'm able to cover the full corridor, waiting for the Udyr to path to the choke point and their team is lined up for a perfect AoE. Using terrain is extremely important for maximizing your skill shots so that you're able to hit as many targets as possible with little room for them to dodge. The second technique that I utilize is curbing skill shots. Curbing skill shots involves abusing the enemy champion hitboxes. When done correctly, it will look like this. This is a technique that makes it impossible for someone to dodge. Here's how to actually do it and why it's so hard for them to dodge. Hitboxes in League of Legends are giant rectangles. Landing a skill shot needs only the smallest margin for it to land. Let's take a look at this example. Ezreal is hiding behind a minion wave, thinking he is safe. But because I know the way the hitboxes work, I'm able to curve the Nautilus hook just around the minion so that it lands. Also, due to how angles work, by positioning myself perpendicular to the minion wave, I'm able to get an even deeper angle, catching Ezreal off guard. I recommend trying this a few times in a practice tool game to get a feel of how this works. This is an extremely important skill, especially in lane, as it is one of the few ways to surprise opponents. Being able to visualize how to curve skill shots around minions is key in many laning matchups and is something you need to practice in order to express mastery of those champions. As you climb in ranks and players get better, you need to continue to master techniques like this in order to get an advantage and increase your win rate. The last tip I have for you is to use your flash to guarantee your skill shot. There are 2 parts to this. First, you can use your flash to hide the animation of your skill shot, giving opponents less time to react. Second, you can use your flash to gap close unexpectedly combined with a fast casting ability to make it nearly impossible to dodge. Allow me to explain. I am playing Leona in a situation where we are extremely behind in the 2v2 after repeated ganks. Typically, I go for an E, Q, R combo on Leona. It's standard. But that gives my opponent opportunities to outplay it, whether with her flash or with her E. Instead, I time my flash Q the moment she autos me combined with the rest of my abilities the chain CC here under tower for an easy 2v2 win. Here's another example on Thresh, where I'm setting up for a gank, and instead of relying on a hook, I use flash plus E for guaranteed CC. Even if I missed my hook, because I guaranteed one of my spells, it was likely would have grabbed both kills anyways. Here's one more example with Leona where I'm setting up for a gank mid. Well, I could simply go for an E here. Jhin will likely just flash away. Instead, I flash Q, then E, which ends up with him dying and losing his flash. Had I just E'd in the beginning, I probably would have just lost out on the kill and Jhin would have lost his flash. In another example, I'm playing against a Rel that is setting up for a gank. If the Rel was to just W at me, it gives me an opportunity to cancel her W with my Q, or I can just flash away. Instead, she uses her Q flash to close the gap, giving me the shortest amount of time to react. There are a ton of spells in League of Legends when use of flash can make it much harder to react to, guaranteeing that it will land. The higher up you go in ranked, the more important this is in securing kills, but this is a great skill to learn at any rank. Try out these 3 tips in your games and let me know how it goes, and I'll catch you all next time.